Let's head to the southeast, where residents of Nnewi South local government area are heaving a sigh of relief over the reconstruction of a road in that area that was damaged by erosion. The governor, Willie Obiano, who paid a visit to the affected place, maintained the government's commitment to the project, asking the people to protect their environment and shun acts that will worsen flooding in the state.
For over a year, the people of Ezinifite in Nnewi South local government area of Anambra State have endured the damage caused to a major road connecting several communities. The road was cut into two by erosion. Buildings were also affected. Governor Willie Obiano ordered immediate reconstruction of the road and now pays a visit to the location to see how much progress has been made.
Before our intervention, this road was cut into two. But now you can see the extent of work that we are doing here. It's not small work, you know, but I just paid the surprise visit to the contractor just to confirm that it's actually working. But I can see a lot of things he has gained already.
While one of the community members commends the prompt intervention, the contractor handling the project says the problem is being solved.
We are very happy today as we come to witness what is happening.
The project is designed to take care of the erosion problem of the entire area. It's charging 2 kilometers away into Ulashi River. That means the problem is going to be solved once and for all.
The legislator representing Nnewi South 2 constituency in the State House of Assembly and the transition local government chairman of Nnewi South appreciate the governor for the speedy response.
We are very happy for your intervention to make sure and ensure that this erosion site is salvaged. Excellency, I remember we moved the motion in the House of Assembly calling on you to, as a matter of urgency, intervene in this situation. And living up to your name, Abokodike, you responded speedily. And we can see today there are several houses that could have, taken by erosion, they are salvaged today.
In the last election, we did make that promise that this work will be done and completed. And here you are doing the work and completing the work.
Hope has been rekindled that the project will be completed in due time, as the people are also charged to be mindful of acts like blockage of drains and improper disposal of refuse that can worsen flooding.
Elsewhere, a woman has sustained multiple fractures after being knocked down by a boulder which fell away from its cleft on a rock at Warinje, a rural settlement in parts of Bauchi State. This is happening less than 6 months after Channels Television aired a report on the dangers of living on the Warinje rocks. Experts are warning of impending danger in that area, while the Bauchi state government says it is stepping up to address the precarious situation.
Yelling and painful groans, such as the condition of Jamila after an ill-fated incident befell her. She was hit by this boulder. She lived on the rocks of Warinje in Bauchi State with her husband and her mate for 14 years. This is what is left of her room. Collapsed walls, shuttered door, an empty bed, and the boulder that knocked her down. Jamila, who is nursing a 1-year-old child, undergoes traditional method of bone setting in her brother's house in Sara village, Gwaram local government area of Jigawa State, where she was moved to because her husband could not afford hospital bills. The husband, a tomato seller in Mudalawal market, narrates the tale.
The
rock came rolling from the top, crushed the door and hit her. I rushed and met her lying on the floor, already injured. She fainted and I tried several times to revive her.
Back here in Warinjem, a stone throw from where Jamila lived, a similar incident also occurred on that fateful day. This time the occupants were lucky. These 3 boulders made their stops at the doorway. Only a goat was killed. More of these natural disasters are likely to occur in the area, says this expert.
So long as there is height, there is tendency for weathering, there is tendency for erosion, which rolls down, and anything on the way it can fall into it. So this is a continuous process until when the rock is peneplated. So now this geologic process is affecting people, or has affected people, caused a lot of damages to the people.
Government dismisses the settlements as illegal, but however plans to relocate them.
Within a month or so, we are going to launch or commission a project, 5,000 housing units project, which will be given to the individuals of Bauchi State for free. You have to pay couple. And we are considering, we are targeting the IDPs, these kind of settlements, and the slum.
In spite of the obvious dangers these dwellers are faced with, many of them are not considering the option of moving, due largely to financial constraints. For now, the only hope lies in a possible government intervention. Until then, they have to take each day as it comes.
The people of Belema community in Kola Kingdom of Akukutoro local government area of River State have been unhappy with Shell Petroleum Company for some time now. And after several meetings in the past, nothing seems to have changed as they accuse the company of neglect and lament their condition of living. In our community report tonight, our correspondent Emmanuel Ire takes a look at the plight of the people and their demands.
Just as it is with many communities surrounded by creeks and rivers in the Niger Delta, Kola Kingdom, owners of Belema community of River State, may be another illustration of how being rich in huge oil and gas deposits does not guarantee improved living conditions. Perhaps the look on the faces of these women tell the story better. And apparently the women have had enough as a protest surrounds Shell's facility in the community, accusing the company of years of neglect despite decades of oil and gas exploration.
Since over 40-something years, Shell nothing to do with us, just to see the community. They are ruling our oil, everything. Shell nothing they do for us. Instead of that, to kill our people, to make two people head to jam. Water or nothing Shell don't do for us. We are suffering, we are the women, look at our children.
The traditional leaders in the community also joined the fray at some point.
We have been holding meeting with an NPC at Abuja. Our point we stand is, let directors or people who can influence policy can come with us, with Shell, from Shell and from an NPC, to see the Belema community that produce billions of barrels of crude oil and gas.
For Shell Petroleum Development Company, however, the company believes there is more to the agitations of the people apart from bringing development. The company insists that it is committed to developing its host communities.
I think we need to nip this in the bud. We need all stakeholders, governments, the regulators to sit down and stop what is happening. Yeah. This year alone, the Minister of State for Petroleum invited us to Abuja 3 times to discuss this issue. We were there the 3 times. Some other parties did not show up. No discussions happened. So we need to really sit down and resolve this issue for the sake of posterity, for the sake of our country, for the sake of the growth of this industry.
With the claims and counterclaims between the oil company and its host communities, there may be need for all parties to come together with the aim of reaching an amicable settlement that will address the concerns of all parties, and in particular, one that will not affect the country's fortunes in the oil and gas sector.
And now to the arts. Female artist Taye Erewale presents her solo exhibition at a gallery in Lagos. The exhibition, titled You Haven't Seen It All, features the current works of art done by this contemporary artist, and she's excited to share it with the audience on Art Review tonight.
words of the best-selling author, Austin Kleon, are amongst the things this contemporary artist has armed herself with as part of the inspiration for this solo exhibition, besides the fact that a lot of things run through her mind and the only way she can find expression is through her art.
I titled my exhibition, "You Haven't Seen It All," because it actually happens to be my very first solo. In the past, I have had struggles with myself. I've been very used to working in a monotonous style against my wish, because I was too glued to the academic kind of art, where you're looking for representational art, you're looking for resemblance and all of that. And so I had, an urge to break away, to, release myself, my true genius, and express myself as the painter I truly am.
And that is what birthed this show, which she calls "You Haven't Seen Nothing Yet." Taye Erewele explains the concept.
I think it's colors that make life worth living. For example, if you were living in a room that didn't have any light, you wouldn't appreciate, for example, the color of the fabric you yourself is wearing, or your furniture, or even the television set, because there will be no light to power it. I think life experiences, guided my thoughts when I was producing these colors.
For her, painting compares to a childlike adventure, one that she has embarked on, and the ride has been a delightsome one. We see it in pieces such as "To Be or Not," "Twilight," "Betrothed," some of these issues that affect her gender.
That piece behind, titled "My Fairy Passion," just talks about how passionate my journey has been. I actually have a very interesting story. Before I became an artist, I had meddled into 2 other courses. At a point in my life, I studied geography and regional planning. At some point again, I studied estate management. But then there was this void in me that I needed to fill, and so, I started on that course of self-discovery. This work just tells you that I'm very passionate about what I do.
Taye Erewele is a graduate of the Ambrose Ali University in Edo State. She has held over 15 group exhibitions, and her subjects are usually gender-related.